Okay, we're going to have a look at cutting the knuckles. This is a bit tricky. I've scribed a line here, and we have the angle of the knuckle cut already in this instance here. So, firstly, nice solid firmer chisel, nice and sharp. Pop it a couple of millimeters, perhaps, what, 1/16 of an inch, this side of the line, chop down, and take that all the way across. And you can see that this little bit of wood is starting to pop up. So we want to very gently ease that out of the way. Very gently. We now have a little channel here which allows us to take the chisel, take the flat of it into that, right up against the knife line, and eyeballing, just move the camera a little bit, okay, eyeballing the angle from this line here and slide it along. It's really important that this is straight. Check the angle there. Okay, chop that out. And I'm using a spike to scrape out the chopped bits. Let's pop this back in here. Let me do it again. Get the angle just right. Okay. Keeping it clear of the off-cut bits makes it much easier to make sure that this is cutting a nice flat surface for the bookstand to open out onto. Now, you could, just move that a second, okay, you could get a block of wood, plane it to the right angle, clamp that on there and use that as like a fence to put your chisel down, but I flat guarantee that Roubo's employees back in the 18th century did not do that, because it's a giant waste of time if your eye has been trained. Now at this point I'm going to take it back a little bit. And notice that the first one I cut here is on the edge, so I can see my original pencil line, and so this one I know is reasonably accurate, and so I'm using this as a model for that. So as long as this looks like that, we know we're on the right track. So this one is about 11 mil. 11 and a half. This so far is down to about 7 mil, so we're over halfway, and it's starting to get quite tight. So the big fat end of this chisel is getting quite difficult to get it all the way down to the hole, so we're going to fix that in a minute. First I have to get the extension lead and plug in the camera. Okay, so you see these two chisels. Now, this one is fairly thick and has a fairly steep bevel. This one, car boot sale, Edinburgh, about 1996, is thin, and I've ground the bevel back a bit to make it easier to get it into the bottom of these tricky little wedgy places. So, now you're not supposed to hit this kind of chisel, which is normally called a paring chisel, with a mallet, but it cost me 50p, and so I don't really care. And this will allow me to get easily right down into the bottom of this rather tight little space. And you should be able to hear that it is pretty sharp. One of the problems is, with a really nice sharp chisel and really nice clean walnut, the pleasure of cutting can lead one to cut too much. Don't. Now the really important thing is that you get all the way down to the saw line that's going to come in this way. So this is what I'm using the ruler for. That is 11 mil. Here we've got a little bit of stuff stopping the ruler go all the way down, so let's clean that out. What we're trying to avoid is the mistake I made with the model, where I hadn't got all the way down here and here, and when I was opening it I used a bit too much force and these two pieces split apart. So what you see there is actually a glue line, okay, which does not belong, because this is all supposed to be one piece of wood. So carefully all the way down. Yeah, not too far. that end is deep enough. This end needs to be worked out just a little bit more. There we go. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, total of 10 of these things to do. I've done the other side already, so 3 more and we'll be ready to cut and open. I don't think you need to see all that, because the process of cutting these is exactly the same for all of them. So we'll get back to it when I'm ready to cut. Cross your fingers.